There's a legend about Sayyidina Ibrahim bin Adam rahmatullahi alayh that he once ruled over Balkh as its king, commanding a grand palace and a lot of ministers. But what prompted his transformation? A servant of Allah, a pious predecessor of ours, visited his court. The court was magnificently decorated. The pious visitor remarked, "This resembles a mere traveler's lodging." Surprised, Sayyidina Ibrahim rahmatullahi alayh questioned, "In what way? This is my grand palace, and these are my ministers." He inquired further, "Who occupied this place before you?" The reply came, "My father. And before him, my grandfather. And before him, my great-grandfather." The pious predecessor then said to him, "What else is a traveler's lodge then? One arrives and another departs. When a new guest arrives, the previous one leaves. Indeed, it is but a traveler's lodge." Sayyidina Ibrahim bin Adam rahmatullahi alayh was deeply moved. He realized the temporary nature of all things and his inevitable departure from this life. That evening, as he laid down to sleep, he heard footsteps on the palace rooftop. Wondering, he asked, "Who walks on the rooftop?" A voice replied, "We are searching for a lost camel." Irritated, he responded, "Who finds a camel on a rooftop?" The rooftop walker replied, "And who acquires knowledge of Allah while lying in comfort." This pierced his heart. That night, and many thereafter, he was deeply moved. He renounced his kingdom, donated his wealth into the path of Allah Almighty, and retreated to solitude in worship. Sometime later, another king passed by and found Sayyidina Ibrahim rahmatullahi alayh, now dressed in humble clothing, sewing his patched garment by the riverbank. "You were once a king," the king remarked. "What life is this after leaving your palace and servants?" Holding up a needle, Sayyidina Ibrahim bin Adam rahmatullahi alayh tossed it into the river, saying, "Fish, bring back my needle." A moment later, fish emerged, each carrying a needle. One presented a silver needle and another a gold one. Dismissing them, Sayyidina Ibrahim bin Adam rahmatullahi alayh insisted on his needle. Eventually, a fish returned it. He then asked the king, "Which kingdom is better, yours or mine?" When one dedicates oneself to Allah's path, Allah Almighty bestows respect not only from people but also from animals. Sallu ala al-Habib sallallahu ala Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa alihi wa sallam.